As I ponder all your wonders, I can see that you live. Every day you see betrayal, yet you choose to forgive. Your love is strong, but not so long.
Good evening, parents of the West Shore School District, and welcome to Simply Speaking with Kristi and Mariana. So today we are going to answer some of your questions. We've been getting a lot of questions today about what was happening behind the scenes. Why was there so much noise from the left? Why did that person get escorted out? What really happened? So, Kristi, do you want to start?
Wow. It was a wild, colorful night. So basically, it was so awesome that the community showed up. The conservative community showed up. The emails that came in, the people, the support, the people that spoke. It was beautiful. But what we saw was theater, of course, and a gentleman that was called a sir, that is a sir, throw a big, huge fit. And he was basically saying for somebody that was speaking to kill himself.
Yes, that is correct. That is correct. He had two little ponytails, like a little 9-year-old. Did you see that on?
Yes,
And this little like
he was
pant
sitting
with a
beside
little
me. He was
yeah,
sitting beside me.
with a little skirt and little ribbons coming out of it, and his big sign going the GOP or terrorists on one side, and LGBTQ people, matter or something to that effect on the other side. So when I saw that, I'm like, they should have escorted him out from the beginning because we're not allowed to bring signs in there. I remember when
Right.
Allison Shipp, I don't know if you remember this, when Allison Shipp from Moms for Liberty, when Brian Geisfeld was the president, that she bought a Moms for Liberty like
Yeah.
sign. You remember that? And she just put it down. I mean, she wasn't like showing it or anything. She just put it down. I guess she had picked up the signs or whatever. And Brian Grice White had a fit. You get that out of here.
Oh
You're not
yeah.
gonna expose that. And she's like looking at him like, okay, dude, like she turned it around. But these people came with signs, and we had somebody looking like an elf. Did you see Elf Lady?
It was
Yeah,
Christmas. Christmas
yeah. It,
is
it was
coming.
colorful.
I wanted to
It
start
was
singing
colorful. It
jingle
was
bells.
special.
Yeah. I mean, like, and Sandra like turns around and they start yelling at her. I mean, the difference between the left and the right that was there is they were honestly very aggressive. People wanted to fight. And it was like, as soon as that started happening, the yelling, I was just like, this is what is happening to our children, and everybody's just so confused and fighting. It was unreal, but it was good for people to see. We weren't doing it; they were doing it the whole time.
But I'm glad you said those words because something that David Brenton said was like he doesn't feel that this is an epidemic. I personally feel that what's happening with our children is an epidemic. And this epidemic is
Absolutely,
being caused in our schools, okay, by the schools indoctrinating. Okay, so
yeah,
yes, it is an epidemic, and our kids don't know what reality and fantasy is. They believe that whatever you feel, that's what it is, and it's not. There's a reality, and my fear is when some of these kids go into the real world, they're not gonna know how to handle the real world because the real world is hard. The real
no,
world can be cruel, and a lot of them are gonna have a rude awakening. I mean, and I doubt that many of them, will be able to hold a job. I'm gonna show our audience what our attendees looked like last night. Okay. I'm gonna show them a picture of what the attendees of the West Shore School District, those that came on the left, really looked like last night. At least this is what they look like to us.
yeah, that's
Yep, we
pretty
had a
close.
we had a lot. We had a lot of colorful clowns. We had people having meltdowns. We had violent clowns. We had whatever that purple thing
Violent
is. And then we had Danielle Gross, the chief clown, you know. She made me laugh during her speech, Danielle, because she's like, I was raised to be very thoughtful and to do things, the correct way. Well, if you were raised to be thoughtful and do the things the correct way, your behavior says differently. Then you should be ashamed of yourself, and your parents are probably ashamed of you too, because all you have been doing in the West Shore School District, you're a political activist that comes in as the guy in guise of a mother. You're a journalist, and all you do is spin a lie, okay, on everything that you touch. Everything that you touch is tainted with lies. So yeah, this was our clown circus yesterday, and I just sat down, and I was like, "Am I seeing what I'm seeing?" I mean, it was funny, but it was sad. It's a sad commentary as to what's happening in our nation and in our community. Okay,
Yeah,
it's a very
it is.
sad commentary. I was expecting somebody to bark like a dog because that's another thing they usually do, you know.
Well,
And
there was people in there that had the ears and stuff on. I don't know if they are like the
furries,
furries. I have no idea. I can't even follow that stuff. But and half of those people, honestly, Mariana, they're not even in our community. They're just people that are activists and come around. Did you notice that most of those people did not even speak?
no, they didn't because they were not from our community.
Right.
Okay, and that's something that I realized because most of those people we never even seen. But then again, they did a call to action asking LGBTQ members from other counties to come in. But I don't think that the number of people they were
That guy
expecting.
that got thrown out, he wasn't a community member. He was an activist.
Right, he's never been there. Absolutely never been there.
Mr. Pink
Um,
Shoes. Mr. Pink Shoes. He was an activist.
yes, yes. And but on the other side, as I was looking at this, like the one they threw out, honestly, tell me, Christy, and I'm not, I get labeled for being mean, and that's fine. But honestly, when I looked at him, did you not see mental disorder?
Yeah. I
Okay,
actually I could feel it because I was sitting beside him. I honestly felt bad for him,
mhm.
and a lot of the people that were in that school board or that in the meeting, just because these people are so lost. And the problem is that they're if they're adults and they're lost, they're adults. But we are guiding kids down this path of this lifestyle that is depression, drugs, alcohol, suicide, and us as adults teaching teaching feelings over facts, like, oh, it's okay, you can do this, blah blah blah, when you're setting them up for a lifestyle that is just, it's terrible.
Yeah,
So
and you're right. You're absolutely right. Another thing I noticed, I don't know if you took notice, because you know me, I watch everything. Okay,
yeah,
I'm
there's a
very
lot to
observant with
see.
everything. When the children were speaking, right, all of a sudden I look at Jezebel. For those who are still not familiar with who Jezebel is, that will be Abigail Tierney. And she had this look of delight. Okay. And you were able to see it in her eyes, like she was like just soaking in every moment. And I dare say that some of these kids were probably, coached by her. But everything these kids said were, it was sad what they said. Often wrong, totally wrong. And I think I told you, I think I leaned over at you and I said, look at Jezebel. And
Yeah,
I just saw this delight, this thing. She was just enjoying every minute. Now we do know, okay, because we have the emails to prove it, that the one that calls the clown circus out is her. She
of
contacts
course.
Danielle. Danielle contacts Juliet Stubb contacts everybody else, and that's how they come out. We have the proof of that. Okay, but it is pathetic. And I sit here and think that if she's really using children, I'm not saying that she has, but if she is really using children, it says a lot about her lack of character, if it's her. Okay, and
Yeah,
I have to give it the benefit of the doubt. If it's her, it does show a lot of her lack of character. And just seeing that delight, that gleam, that it's like she was soaking it in, that was scary in itself, because that's an adult. And our
right.
kids are lost and confused. Our kids need God, whether and regardless what anybody says. This generation needs God.
Absolutely. I mean, just think about it, Mariana. If you want to take out a generation, what do? You go after their kids,
And that's what
and
they're doing.
that's what they're doing. And like we've talked about all the time, that life is so crazy and everything's so busy, and you need the biggest and best of everything. So we're pulling the moms out, or we're stressing the dads out. So who who's there to take care of the kids? Big Daddy Government. He does breakfast, he does lunch, he does dinner, he does after school, and these parents, they're just like, it's the school's job. I understand. I was a single mom. I understand how it all works and stuff, but when you actually sit back and look what has happened, it is, we have allowed them to step in our places, and now we're trying to fight back to get that seat back at the table. And once you lose something, it's really hard to get it back.
Correct. And the thing is, it's not the school's job. The school's job is to teach and to educate. It is not,
Right.
it's our job. But it's like this generation, I would say after Generation X, actually gave all the power to the schools and to the government because it was easier for them to parent that way. And that's very selfish. And now look at the creation, look at the monsters that they have created. And now we are dealing with this.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Well, we know
So
that people are selfish.
correct. Absolutely correct. Now, the other question that I got was why was Adam Strong looking so down and out? When from the moment they came out in the executive session, I don't have the answer to that question. Okay, but I will tell you this: that they all came out looking like they had sucked the lemons, all of them. You know, so something must have happened in the background. Okay, and that's privy to them. That is totally privy to them. So it leads me to believe that either they were fighting about this policy and arguing, or there was more to the story. Or it can just have been the emails. And I want to thank the parents, not only the parents that came out and spoke, because you guys did a wonderful job, but also the parents that emailed. Okay, because it was nice to hear, the conservatives, the patriots actually using their pen, using their keyboard, okay, to express, their desire for this policy to be passed. And also to the parents who wrote about the bribery issue, I congratulate you also because it's very brave of you to do that. A lot of parents are, requesting and asking and stating that something has to be done. Now, among the speaker we had, I believe his name is Daniel Davis, and he was also wonderful. Okay.
Yeah,
And I
he
like
was.
something that he said because if you heard the speakers last night, everything was about hate, hate, hate. Oh, they hate us. Oh, we're the victim. Oh, hate, hate, hate. I like something that he said. Okay. And I'm glad that he said it. And I'm happy for the Papa Bears that came out because we
Yes,
need
that
more
was
men.
awesome.
Yes, we need more men. Okay, guys, we need you. We need your strength. We need your voice. Okay. Well, Daniel said, Mr. Davis said that we do not hate trans kids because we don't.
Yeah,
Okay.
we try
We
to
do
say that all
not.
the time.
Exactly. We do not hate the trans community. We do not. Okay. We are called to pray for them. Okay. We're called to try to guide them if they want the guidance. Okay. And you want to live any way you want to live, that's on you. What we are against is the indoctrination of our children. But I like the
Right.
part that he says, they should be respected and they should be protected. And I agree with that. I agree with that. Because, even though I might not share their lifestyle, I know that there are, terrible people out there that will harm them. Okay. And we're not called to hurt them. We're called to guide them with the love of Christ. It's up to them whether they want to accept or not, because Christ himself is a gentleman. He don't impose himself on you. He knocks on the
Right.
door of your heart. If you open, he'll come in and he'll reside with you. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't open, he'll continue to open up to knock until certain point. If you never open that door, that's on you. But you can never say that Christ didn't give you the opportunity. Like people ask me,
That's right.
"Oh, God's mean. God sends people to hell." But think about that. Does God send people to hell?
No, you have a
No.
choice.
You send yourself to hell with your choices.
Yes,
Okay.
you do.
So I'm glad that he said that, because it's not an issue of hate. It's not an issue of excluding them. And they're not excluded. They can
Yeah.
still play sports. They could play the sports under, their biological gender. So
Right.
I really enjoyed when he said that. I was really happy that he said that.
Yeah. And it was a great statement. And it becomes very hard, okay, because they always want to play the victim, okay? And I understand that to a degree. Like, I understand, like, like you're saying, we have to be loving, we have to be kind. That's fine. I'm all good about that. But what I'm not going to do is tear down my beliefs and my Christianity, and to say things that I don't feel that is right. And that's where, I've had battles with these people before, because I respect what you're doing, but please respect me. Like, I'm not using your pronouns. I don't know what this non-binary, like, I think you were involved in this conversation I had, Mariana. Let's just call each other the normal names and move on, because we're never going to agree. Like, it's just going to cause an argument. That's where the fight sometimes can happen. Like, we need to just respect each other and just kind of like move on and not go to those areas. And sometimes that's hard, because we don't want to morally take our beliefs away. So that's where it can get hard.
Yeah, and that's where it can get hard. But respect is a two-way street, and regardless, if you identify as Casper the Friendly Ghost, I've always been taught, you respect that person. You
Right.
judge people by their character and not what they are, the color of the skin or whatever. I don't need to agree with your lifestyle, okay? And you don't need to agree with mine. But there's a line of respect that should not be crossed, and that's the issue when that line of respect is crossed. And when you want to impose your lifestyle on others and impose your beliefs on others, okay? You guys are cool saying that we're not human. Nobody's ever said that you're not human. Obviously, you're human.
Yeah.
You're here.
Right.
I mean, I don't see you with antennas on your head, and well, using a UFO versus a car. So obviously, you're human. But
Exactly.
it's an issue of respect, totally an issue of respect. So we have some wonderful speakers. Now, all the noise that you guys were hearing, what about all that noise that we were hearing on the left? It was just that people having fits because the speakers were speaking truths. And I'll tell you one thing, when when Casey spoke, he cleared out the room. You feel that people started
Oh,
leaving and slamming things and slamming doors and just leaving. I was like, wow. I was like, this guy is clearing out the room. Not that that necessarily was a bad thing, but yeah, he was he was
yeah,
clearing
I
out the
heard
room.
water bottles clanking and, all
Mhm.
sorts of stuff.
Mhm.
Mm.
Mhm. Then because they remove that man with a sign, and after Casey made his speech and used the term that you know what I'm talking about, the hermaphrodite term. Okay, he was gavelled. He accepted he was gavelled. And but they wanted him to be removed from the floor.
Oh, did they say that?
Mhm. Mhm. They
Oh,
wanted him to be removed. And I believe it was the solicitor that was like, no, because it's freedom of speech. You know what I'm
you
saying? And
can't.
when Mandy gavelled, he accepted it. He continued. He didn't say it again. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, they were, and I think they were trying to find a scapegoat because their buddy there, got escorted out. And then did you see that Penn Lives hit?
Yes, I
Penn,
saw it.
oh Lord, that was
10
horrible.
lives.
Yeah, Penn lies. In one whole, paragraph, they said like three or four different, lies. In one paragraph, I think in the first three or four sentences, like three or four lies in there. So yeah, and and this is where we're at. It's a shame because the only one that was there was Penn lies. Okay. And we have no, conservative journalists coming out.
Dude, my
That
husband and I have written in Depend Lies. I don't know how many times. They never accept anything. Like,
oh, of course
we
not.
will, yeah, we will fight back with what they say. No, they'll never post it. So, and like you
Mhm.
said, it's their, is it their opinion piece? It's all a lie constantly.
Mhm, mhm. Now, also the good thing to see that last night was Mandy Davis.
Yeah, it was
Woo, Mandy
awesome.
Davis. She was a warrior because
She
she
did
didn't let
great.
anybody get away with a thing. She did great. And for that reason tonight, we are giving her the Wonder Woman Award.
Ooh,
That goes to
that.
Mandy Davis because that was her yesterday. She had that sword out, and
Yeah, that looks like
yeah,
her
she
when she was kicking Sir out of the meeting, Mr.
Oh,
Sir.
yes. Yes. She was not having it. She was just not having it.
Sir,
And
I wasn't
congratulations
talking to
because
you,
we
sir.
need that. Yeah, we need that.
Yeah.
We so need that, to be for them to be gavelled, and escorted out, because that brought order and discipline into these meetings, okay, or into this meeting, which is something that we have been striving and speaking about. There has to be at some point, somebody that says enough is enough, and she said it. This is not happening here. We do not do this. And then he yelled at her. Well, what did he say? I'm not putting up. She said, I'm not putting up with
Transphobia.
this. And he said, well, I'm not putting up with your transphobia. There was no transphobia at all. At no point in time did she disrespect this young man,
That's all he
but
had. That's all he
right.
had.
Exactly, or said anything transphobic to him, and that's all he had. Exactly, because outside was quiet and very, very professional. Their side, yeah, it looked like a box of Crayolas. That's what we needed.
Yeah,
That's all we
yeah.
needed.
I mean, like, but it's just ridiculous. And then Bill says, "Don't talk like that. There's women in here and children and stuff, and go kill yourself." Like, like I knew that was coming. I knew
Mhm.
that was coming. Like, thank
But
you.
but you were, and that's the whole thing. But you were able to see that there was there was something not right with him. You were able to see it in his eyes.
Could you imagine if I would have said that to sir, go kill
Oh, we would
yourself?
have been
I would have
arrested.
been a helicopter would have came and got me. I would have been
The SWAT team.
lifeline to prison. Yeah, I mean, come on. That's what I said to Bill. I was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, I'm pretty sure you could have took sir, but I'm sorry that happened to you. And he's like, "It's fine." I was like, you imagine if you would have said that to Mr. Sir over there? Like, come on.
Mhm.
That's what I'm
Mhm.
talking about. It's like, it's ridiculous.
Right. Now,
It's
the
just pretty
shocking
sad.
moment that I've also got some questions today about, Christy. People were wondering when the vote came in. We had I believe it was strategic, but you guys know how I think already, okay? But we had Adam Trone, Cambeck, and Geis White say yes to the policy.
Of course
Now,
they
I'm glad
did.
they said yes, but they're like everybody. That's like the question right now. Why did they say yes?
Because this is a losing ticket. What I mean is that the Democrats keep losing because guess what? People don't like grooming of children, okay? They see how the children are turning out. They see the mental health. They see that the social emotional learning, the DEI, that does not work, okay? So they're jumping off this boat, okay? But they have to do it very slowly, okay? They don't want people to see them drowning. Geis White, the only people that are going to vote for him are the people that were over on the other side. So he had to do that lightly, make this big speech. Some now instead of Title IX, he's now protecting men. Like, what was that? I was more confused after he got done talking. Like, Title IX is to protect women, and Geis White's in there, and he wants a policy for men now. Okay, whatever. Then Cambic thinks that's good too, and Cambic's going to follow him, and Trone. Okay. The reason is that all three of these guys voted yes is because they want to win their race. They want to, it's all
Correct.
political. That's what it is. I mean,
Mhm.
because they're marching down the same road as the other people are. And they voted yes because if they don't, they're sunk.
Yeah, it's political theater, and that's exactly what I thought, because Geis White is trying to present himself as though he's a conservative, and he's not. Listen, if you go into, I think it's West Shore Student First and West Shore Unified, he's being actually, he's running on the ticket and under the banner of the Democrats. Okay, and the Democrats are donating for his signs and buying his signs. So
There's a big
he
shock
is
there.
being represented by the woke left. But yet he wants to sit there and pretend that he is a conservative when he's not. I mean, we've always known that, especially the ones that, we've been going to these meetings for a while now, that he's not, a conservative, and
He's not a
his actions says
conservative.
differently. So, and I honestly believe that, that Sandra's going to win this. I honestly believe it.
Sandra's
People
going to
are
blow his doors off.
definitely, people are sick of him. He's been what 16 years. It's time for him to pack up his bag
15.
and go.
15.
How many? 15, okay. So yeah, it's
15.
time for him to pack up his his bag and go. He's done nothing, but be destructive. He's done nothing but bring confusion. So yeah, he's trying to show that he is a conservative, and so is Cambic. Cambic has been running that he's a conservative and he's a Republican, really. So why are the Democrats the ones endorsing you? And you were there in just a town hall they had this week, all sitting together. Okay,
Yeah,
representing the same group, okay, this little town hall, and it was all Democrats and libtards, and you're there, okay, and you're taking their endorsement and their money for your signs, and so you want us to believe that you're what? Now Trump, we know that he's a libtard, that's goes be and a socialist, that goes beyond saying. We all know
and
that.
and he's a briber.
Oh yeah, he's a briber, yeah. He knows how
He's not
to
very
order the
he's not
bribe.
very he's
Mm,
not very good at it.
Trump has to order the deal, he has to order the bribe. Okay, so but that didn't go too well for him, I guess, because he's not as intelligent as Trump. So
Guess what? And those people were very mad at Adam because he voted yes.
yes, you heard them going, "Thanks a lot, Adam." Did you hear that? I was
Mhm.
like, okay. And but he's also doing it, okay. It still comes down because he's backing up his buddies, which is Cambic and Geiswhite, because they're all trying to schmooze people together. Now you add Terry Mickles to the number. Okay, now Terry Mickle had nothing really to say of substance. If you heard her, yeah, we have comedy skills and we know we do have a good program, and I'm happy for that. We've always known that, but she tried to be very careful with her words. Okay,
Why do you
she
think
threaded
that
lightly.
is? Why do you think
Whoa, of
that is?
course, because she's what's been reported to us, folks, okay, by people that are trustworthy. Um, her team, okay, has been knocking doors in Region 2 and saying that Terry is a conservative, which she is not. She's a woke tard, okay, and also stating that she's against the LGBTQ. She's against the LGBTQ agenda. She's against the transgender bathrooms or the all gender bathrooms. And the reality is that she's all for that. Where was she sitting yesterday, Kristi? Around who?
Yeah, yeah. And her speech, if you listen to the buzzwords in it, okay, she was dancing around this, very lightly tiptoeing around it, basically saying, why do we need a policy like this? Why do we
Correct.
need it? We don't have a problem. Why do we need a policy like this? Have you looked at what's going on around the world? Have you looked at the children at the school? How many people have fallen asleep, Mariana, in the bathroom this year?
Oh yeah, they haven't fallen asleep. It's been drug overdose. I'll say it.
No, it's an incident. They're napping. Remember?
It's a drug overdose.
Okay.
Okay. And if I take
So,
enough drugs, I'll probably be napping too. Maybe not in the bathroom stall, but
okay.
and that's what it is. Call it what it is. Everything's an incident. Oh, somebody came in with a gun. Oh, it's an incident. You know, I mean, somebody brought gasoline into the building. Oh, it's an incident. You know, somebody overdosed. Oh, it's an incident. Now, what was an incident is what happened. I think was it last week or early this week? The peanut butter allergy. Now that's an incident. Okay, so you need to determine which incident is worse, the drug overdose or the peanut butter allergy. You can't put them on the same on the same level here. So everything's an incident. Let's call it what it was, and we all know it too. We all know it too. It's an incident because that doesn't happen in the West Shore School District. Okay.
So when Terry's dancing around, okay, she's dancing around this problem and just saying we basically don't need this policy, then she's got to bring the mental health in because that's what they always do. We already have the mental health stuff. I mean, we've voted that all in. We've basically turned our schools into hospitals, okay? And it's still not helping. And she's talking
Mm-hmm.
about therapists. Well, with the COVID money, we had to buy into the whole wraparound. We have therapists all over the school now. You
No,
you are
and then
aware
they
of
were
that,
saying,
right?
yeah, but they were saying that we didn't have enough therapists, that we don't have enough social workers. And I'm looking at them like, did the cheese fall off the cracker? What's wrong with these people? That's what we have. We have too
Because
many of them.
it's never enough. It's never enough with them. They want more. These schools, we're gonna have hospital beds in there soon.
Well, it's funny because that's what it's becoming. It's becoming like a social service center, a mental health ward. Okay, that's what it's becoming, but that's the fault of the parents that are allowing that to happen.
Yeah,
Because you've
we've got
given
padded
your
rooms.
yes, you've given your power. You've given them the authority to do so and to do whatever they so like with your child. And yeah, so then it
Mhm.
comes back to the same question: why are the kids in the West Shore School District going to cyber school? Well, that's part of the reason.
No,
That's
it's
part of the
because they
reason.
got $1,000.
Yeah, gift card. Uh-huh. Okay.
That I don't know where he got that from.
Mm-hmm.
Not in
Mm-hmm.
PA
Listen, did you hear what Danielle Gross did to Sandra? Did you
with
hear
the
that?
picture.
Yeah, she was trying with her phone to
Yeah,
take
I'm
a
the one that
picture of
texted
Sandra's
Sandra.
screen.
Yeah.
Yes, isn't that crazy? And but yes,
Yes.
she's yes, because she is. It's a liberal hack, a political advocate. Okay, she is, and the companies that assist her with her hit jobs like ABC, 27, which is big. I mean, they're big on helping this woman, whoever she works for, Clear View, Clear Vision, whatever it is. Shame on them for having somebody like that on staff. Shame on them. And then she tries to go in there as a parent because she's trying to sabotage Sandra and to try to take a picture with her phone on Sandra, try to take a picture of Sandra's phone. Sandra's phone is private. Okay.
Hmm.
What if somebody did it to her, to somebody in the left? That would be all. I
Well,
mean, in England, they will know about it.
Sandra texted me and was asking me for somebody's phone number. Remember, I asked you for the phone number?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when I got done asking you, I screenshotted what you showed me and I sent it to Sandra. I just turned around to make sure that she got it, that she was looking at her phone. And she was. And I saw Daniel Gross taking a picture. And then, that's when I text Sandra and I'm like, she's taking a picture of your phone, you know, and it's just like stupid. I'm sure she wants to just show guys why, oh, Sandra was texting somebody during the school board meeting, which the school board meetings are like 5 hours long. So guess what, Danielle? I see you playing on your phone the whole entire time. And guess what? Yes, I am playing on my phone too because I'm doing stuff. It's 5 hours of sitting there. So exactly, that's what she's doing. She's just spreading hate while she's sitting there.
But it's still an invasion of privacy, an invasion of
Yeah, of
somebody's
course.
space, okay? A lack of respect, okay? And what she's trying to do, she's trying to find something to try to use against Sandra, but she's going to be surprised because Sandra is squeaky clean, unlike her. Okay, Sandra is squeaky clean. So to even do something like that, that shows no class. That shows no class, and that shows that this woman is dangerous. Okay, she will resort to everything and anything to continue to promote her agendas. And then to sit there and accuse the school board of, making this decision because they're pushing their agendas, their political positions, on other people. No, she's the one. She and her minions are the one, including Tyranny. Okay, trying to push their woke agendas on everybody else.
Right.
And hopefully, I pray to God that this decision of this common sense policy that was just passed will be the first of many. Okay,
We need
I
the
really
bathroom. We need the
oh,
bathroom.
and that's gonna be a battle.
It's going to
I'm
be a
telling you right
huge
now.
battle, but the bathroom is so important.
Exactly, because it's privacy. And then, we have somebody, I think on the Liptar page saying, how they don't see why people are offended about the gender neutral bathrooms, or the all gender bathrooms that everybody can go to because it's sealed. The stalls are sealed from side to side and up and down, so you can't see anybody. So are they upset because they got to wash their hands together? No, they're upset because everybody deserves their space. Okay. And yes, it's like Sandra said one time, girls, they go through the time of months. Let's say they get something in their hands, they gotta go wash it, and there's a guy behind her. These kids are silly. The bullying and the harassing that's gonna happen. But outside of
Right.
that, let's talk about these bathroom stalls. So they're sealed from side to side and up and down. So what happens if somebody takes a nap again? And there's an incident, but we don't know there's an incident because they're locked up in there and there's not even that little gap. Because one of these incidents that happened in Voltech, It was because one of the boys was able to see through the crack that he realized that the child was unresponsive on the other side taking a nap. And
That would
the
be
child was in
another
such a
incident.
yeah, he was in such a deep nap that they had to go the child had to go underneath the stall to go in the system and open the door, okay, for the administrators and the EMS staff to get to the child.
Wow.
Okay, and let's talk about those sealed doors. What if something inappropriate is going on behind them doors?
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
that's opening another can of worms. How about
Yeah,
everybody use the bathroom that is assigned to them?
you're
It's
right.
just that simple.
I mean,
So
there's going to be
that's
a
going to be
lot of,
another matter.
it's going to be a lot of hurt feelings. But again, we have to keep facts. I mean, it's
Hmm.
dangerous. It's not right. So it's no. Everybody goes in the right bathroom. Sorry.
Correct. Correct. So this is a victory, when it comes to Brian Guys, why, well, we need a policy for the boys, for the boys, for the
What was
boys.
that
Listen,
about?
I don't know
What's that
how
about?
old he is. Yeah, I don't know how old he is, but when Title IX came to be, I was an elementary school kid. Okay, so I remember the talk of it, okay? Not fully understanding because I was a child, okay? But and that was made for women. For women. So if he wants to start his own policy for boys, if little Johnny has boogers coming out of his nose, what little Johnny have to do in the middle of the game, okay, that's fine. He can do that. Okay. But leave the policy that have just created alone. Leave it
But
alone because
why do the boys need a policy?
they don't. Because Title IX is specifically for women. Okay, that's
Yeah, so what
him
is he even
trying.
talking about?
Yeah, that's him trying to cause more drama, more confusion, and gaslighting the community. Okay, because
Yeah,
Title
it
IX
just
was
didn't
made
make any
for
sense.
women. Now
And
there
then
are women.
Cambic liked it.
Cambick's an idiot. Canvas, he's Beaker from the Muppets. Anything that that Lemon has that says he'll say I know I second it. I'm motioning. He don't even know half the time what he's motioning to. But the thing is,
I was like,
the
okay, you like the word salad. Okay, like,
yeah, but he was saying yesterday in his word salad, because there's gonna be girls that gonna be playing in boys' sports, and what if this girl is heavy, or what if this girl this, or what if the girl listen. Obviously, he didn't read his own policy. Boys and girls in elementary school, they're playing the same sport. They're playing sport. I mean, they haven't gone through puberty or anything. They're about the same strength and everything. And there's nothing, but once puberty hit, that's where the problem is. And obviously, he has a problem understanding that, or puberty hasn't hit for him, and he's still, suffering from arrested development. Um,
he could.
so
Okay, that
yeah,
makes
so
sense.
this
Has a
thing,
lot of sense.
I mean, really, so it was a whole bunch of hoopla or a whole just noise, a whole bunch of noise for nothing. If he wants to do a policy for the boys, then let him do a policy for the boys, but leave Title IX
But
and
what
leave the
is it
girls
gonna
alone.
say?
I don't know because whatever he wants to do for the boys, how is it going to enhance, okay, the policy they just passed? Because the policy they just passed has nothing to do with boys, not a daggone thing. Okay, because
Are
it's
the
based
boys
on
in
the Title
danger?
IX.
Are the boys in danger?
I don't know. Why are you asking me trick questions? I'm trying to be nice.
I don't know. It just came out of the blue. I was like,
I don't know, unless they
shut
got,
up.
Amazon woman. I don't know what to tell you. Wonder Woman or something. Wonder Woman.
I just think it was to trip people up.
Yeah,
I
it
think
was the gaslight.
that whole speech protecting the men just cost him Region 3.
I think Region 3, he lost Region 3 the moment that people were able to verify that Mrs. Geis White, okay, was the head of an LGBTQ club in our school, in our district. And I showed the proof the other day. Okay.
Mhm.
So yeah, and I think you saw it too. Okay. So he, no, my woman, my wife never. Okay. Well, there you go. The proof. So that stopped that. So I think that when people realize that and put the puzzle together, so if she was the head librarian and she was also the president of an LGBTQ club, and he was the school board president, and these pornographic books winded up in the school somehow, showing up in the school, who's responsible for that? Unlike this new generation, the older generation, we know that 1 + 1 = 2.
Yes, thank the Lord.
And I think that, he's been losing Region 3 and will continue to lose Region 3 because everybody got fed up and is fed up with his ineffectiveness. What he's doing right now is too little, too late.
Of
Okay, now
course.
he wants to, put on the cape of I'm Mr. Conservative when all these years that we look back, nothing showed that you were Mr. Conservative.
Dude, people saw you with the puppy dog mask on during COVID. Like
I
when we
just
were
thought he was
going,
identifying as a furry. Hmm.
when we were protesting, he was loving it with those masks and stuff. So I he's tried to show me his voting things before and he's on my side. Listen, buddy, I've been up here for 6 years watching. You are not on my side one bit.
No, he's
It's
not.
to me, it's it's not even about, right or left. It's about up or down. And this guy is not on the right path. He's not on the same path as us. That's what I'm telling you.
No.
100% Sandra's going in. People are
And
people are done.
yeah, and then the thing also is all of them, Cambic, him, uh, Pickles, and then Koski, they're all bipartisan now. That's the new
Right,
thing.
of course.
Everybody has to be bipartisan. That's the new fashion. You have to be bipartisan. But they cross file. So he's supposed to be a conservative Republican taking funding from the Democrats. So the Democrats are buying him signs, putting it all over the place, and he's campaigning with the Democrats, okay, on the same bill. All his decisions are to the left. He cross filed with Republicans and Democrat, and he is a conservative. Yeah, okay, okay.
Right.
It doesn't take
Yeah.
too much for people to figure it out. And Canbeck,
Just
all
put
he's
the
doing is
puppy dog
breathing and
mask
breathing
up.
and taking space. Yeah, maybe he should go to
No,
the pool with his puppy dog mask.
he's loving he's loving protecting men, Cambic. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, that's something new. I mean, because by the most part, in all these meetings, he were falling asleep. He need a cup of coffee.
I'd be falling asleep trying to figure out what word salad said. We're talking about women's sports and now we got to protect men. I'm like, what is going on here? Maybe he
Well,
should go
that's what
out with the
him.
maybe he should go out with Sir and figure out what's going on.
I think that's the problem. He's been hanging around with Sir too long. That's what I think the problem is right there. Okay, and so he's confused himself. Okay, so now order magically overnight. Well, we need a policy for men. So yeah, that's him trying to gaslight the community. Okay, okay.
Well, you know what?
Mm.
We could have had maybe somebody bribe them to put men in that policy.
Yeah, but if they're gonna use somebody that's gonna bribe, they better find somebody that knows how to bribe. Not bribing while they're kind of, asleep. I don't want to say the other word, sleep. You know, let me just, you know, let me just, let me bribe Christy here. Christy, I'll make you president of everything of the world
You can always
if you
meet
help
me
me get this done.
at you can always meet me at Nick's.
Yeah, we want some crab cakes. No wings. We got some good wings. Go on, let's go. Let's go get, go get a soda. I about need a soda right now. Guys, I'm making fun. I'm an idiot. I'm not saying anything about him. I'm not saying that he's a drunk. Okay, I'm just being an idiot. So
I'm shaking.
you want some wings? But
I love some.
oh yeah. So and then you have pickles there. I don't know what to tell you about pickles. She's on the wrong side of everything, and she's stooping so low to try to make people think that she's a conservative. Just come to the board meeting, guys. Prove it for yourself.
Everybody knows
And then
that that's
look at
not
the
a
people.
conservative.
Yeah, and then look at the people who are supporting her. Like um parents first. you know, and Education Plus. If you look at these sites, you go online and you see what they stand for. I mean, you don't even if you wear glasses, you don't even need glasses to see. Okay, that they are all libtards. And they are all,
Yeah.
and like Christy said, you have to listen for buzzwords like inclusive, you know what I'm saying, and equity. When you start hearing stuff like that, that should be flags, okay? And you should hear these little bells, in your ears that the person is really saying LGBTQ, they're saying CRT, DEI, because that's what she's all about. And she admitted it in
Absolutely.
her own profile. She admitted it in her profile. Then you look at people that are, like for example, endorsing Kelly Brand, the PA Economic Growth Pact. Look at those people. Those are all professional lawyers. These are people in government, people that have been fighting for our kids for the longest. Fighting for the parents' rights. And they are for protecting your kids. So you got Libtar Lane here and conservative Roe, and you're gonna vote for Libtar Lane. I'm gonna tell you guys one last time: vote for Mickle, get in the pickle.
Yeah,
Tax to the Mac Nichols.
I felt like we were in a pickle when Dice White and Trone and Cambic started talking. And if she would have been up there, it would have been big time pickles.
Yeah, it really would have been. It would have been a hot mess. I mean, a
It
hotter
got
mess than what it is.
confusing.
Yeah. So, guys, primary day is May 20th. Please,
I'll
do
be
your
there.
homework. Now, I'm happy to tell you that yes, some parents have been calling me and asking me about the elections as to who they should vote for. Okay, so I've been able to share information with them, intel with them, data. So now they know, who not to vote for and who to vote for, who has the best interest, which would be Kelly Brent and Sandra Gonzalez. Kelly Brent, Region 2, Sandra Gonzalez, Region 3. We have to propel them in, guys, because we have to finish this work. We have to bring people that are going to bring and keep common sense policies into our schools. So I appreciate those parents who have reached out to me this week about that. Okay. And feel free to reach out to me if you need more information. Reach out to Christy and to myself if you want to help any of these candidates, okay, with their campaign, okay, and knocking doors, giving flyers, putting signs out, making phone calls, whatever it is. Reach out to us. We can, guide you in the right direction, tell you, what the game plan is. Primary day is May 20th, and above everything, let's pray to God, okay, that not only it's God's will done, but that God will continue to remove, okay, the tear and bring in the wheat,
That's
okay,
right.
because we
Open
need
people's
people that are
eyes.
gonna make a change. Yeah. Yeah, because I'm gonna tell you right now, if these two ladies don't get in, we're gonna be in a lot of trouble. If we allow them to flip this board, okay, back to the liberal tars that used to be there, okay, only with new, fresher faces, they're going to reverse everything that has been put in place. You can count on that, and you think we have a battle in our hands now, the battle is gonna get worse.
Right.
So
For
guys,
real.
use wisdom. I'm not gonna say be smart about it because anybody can be smart. You can be book smart, street smart, but wisdom comes from God. Use
Yeah.
wisdom.
That's right.
Let God guide you as to who to vote for. Okay, because
That's right.
honestly, the future of the West Shore School District depends on it. The future of our children depends on it. We saw, what that meeting was, what it became yesterday, which was a clown circus because there's no other word, but it was a clown circus. People screaming, people crying, people acting up, people like this young lady here gaslighting and lying to the community. We need to finish cleaning out the West Shore School District. We need to bring out the buckets, the hot water, the disinfectant, and finish what we started, okay, a year ago. What is it, a year or two?
We need
It was a
bleach,
year, right? A
man.
year ago. We need to
Yeah.
we need what?
We need bleach.
I'm sorry, you said we need who?
Bleach.
We need bleach. We need
Yeah.
yeah, we do.
I
We
mean,
do.
that's what you
We need
use
to
for
finish
murder
cleaning out
tools.
that
You
West
need
Shore School
bleach.
District.
Yeah.
Well, and we need bleach, but we also need the other liquid. I gotta find out what it's called. Joe, look it up, Jonathan, if you can hear me. Um, there's another chemical that you use to hide the fact that there was blood because the bleach won't do it. Yeah.
Yeah. We need
So
some.
I've been seeing too much forensics of stuff, but No, in our reality, we need to finish cleaning this off, and it's really also a spiritual battle. And I'm going to
Yes, it
ask
is.
any pastor, I'm going to ask any pastor that can hear us to put the West Shore School District in your prayers, because this is a spiritual battle. This is a demonic battle. We laugh and everything about Ferry Sir. I call him Ferry Sir, the guy that they escorted out yesterday. We laugh at me at all because it gave us a moment of a giggle at the same point, at the same time. But in reality, it was sad. But then there's something else that I think I was speaking to Christy this morning about. If you're going to really look at it, that could have turned to be something violent
Of course.
because of the way he was acting and some of these people were acting. Okay, I could have seen chairs being thrown. And before I went into that meeting, hours before I went to that meeting, I was praying and I was binding the strong man. Okay, binding the strong man that has infiltrated the West Shore School District and rebuking him in the name of Jesus. Okay, so that meeting will be under control. Because that's another thing, guys. As Christians, we have to pray before we go into these meetings, rebuke whatever we need to rebuke before we enter those meetings. Because it's like, if you remember the day that Celeste came in and she prayed, wasn't there like a shift in the atmosphere, a shift in
Hmm.
the air? Everything
Yeah.
became peaceful. Okay, and these
Yeah.
demons were silent. And then after the meeting, they started, going on and having their rages after the meeting, on social media. But there was a peace, and we need to
Yeah.
bring the peace of God also into these places. You
Yeah.
know. So I'm going to be wrapping up soon, Christiana. Is there something else you want to share?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think we definitely hit everything. Was awesome to see the community come out. And I was so happy that the school board members got to see like the people that elected them. Because let's not forget, guys, our school board members, they won big. Okay.
Yes.
People want them in these positions, okay? But people also, like we've said a million times, not everybody is like me and you and want to deal with these people all the time, getting harassed, getting phone calls, people coming to our house and stuff. People don't want to deal with it, okay? And they got to work, and then they don't want to come to these meetings for like 4 hours. So, what I'm thankful for is that the community showed up and the
Yeah.
community showed their support. They're like, yes, guys, we put you here, we back you, do our will. And they did it. They were awesome. And that was so
They
nice.
were.
And it was nice that Geiswhite and Cambeck and Trone, that they voted yes. It was nice to see that this is political theater for them. And I hope that people wake up and see that.
Yeah, I do so also. And I do want to thank the parents that came out, the parents that emailed, but there's somebody else that I want to thank. And that is Brandy. Okay, Brandy, Brando. Because while we're in these meetings battling it out, okay, with these people and these, what I call these spirits, and we're there, fighting for our kids,
We love
she's here with
Brandy.
Jonathan doing the boiling point and keeping you guys informed on this side also, and calling out what she needs to call out on this side. And and she was a true champion, because you know what?
She's a
She
tough
sat with
cookie.
Jonathan through this whole thing. Yeah, she's a
Yeah,
tough cookie,
Brandy.
and she's
Brandy's
a
awesome.
true champion. A true champion. And and kudos to where kudos is deserved. While we're out there, in the field, she's still back here with Jonathan. Okay, while they're strategizing and telling the people and informing the people here on the boiling point as to what's happening. Okay, with commentary, and with the after show, until if we're able to jump in at the end. So kudos to Brandy, because that's our other fellow warrior. Okay, you might not see her in the front in that room at times. Okay, but she's always here keeping you informed.
Yeah.
So we thank you for that. And for everybody that has something to say about the boiling point, like Adam Trong, that he gave a jab on the boiling point. Well, thank you for tuning in. Okay. We are happy that you are our number one fan. Thank you for the call out, and thank you for the attention. And feel free, to turn on the boiling point and get yourself informed, get yourself educated, and find out what the people really want.
Hey,
Because
we'll
it's
take
not
a
what you've been
bribe.
dishing out. Yeah, we could take a bribe.
We'll,
I
we'll
could take
take a
some
bribe.
wings.
Send one our
You want
way.
a soda?
Let's. Maybe Jonathan will bite.
hey, we'll take a bribe. No, but not from him. Now, if he wants to send some wings our way, hey, we're not gonna say no.
I don't know. It
Okay,
depends
but
what
that
the
doesn't
bribe
mean we're
is.
gonna
I
do
might
what you
take
want.
it.
No, the bribe is he's gonna do, what he needs to do, get his act together, go to counseling, do whatever he needs to do to get himself together, and then we can share some wings because I don't break bread with just anybody. And anybody that knows me knows that. I mean, I have a small inner circle. I have a lot of friends, but what I consider my inner circle, very few is in there, and I like it that way. Okay,
Mhm.
because when you break bread with somebody and you share a meal with somebody and you invite them to your house, that's an intimacy that you cannot open and afford to everybody. Okay, you have to be very careful who you allow in your home and in your life, because
That's right.
sometimes you may allow the wrong person in your life, and these are the people that will destroy your marriage, destroy you. So I don't break bread with everybody. Okay, for me to invite you to break bread, or go with you and break bread together, okay, that means that there's an intimacy. You see, Christy can come with wings anytime, Christy. Like I'll be up till like 1 o'clock. But Christy, you wanna come over tonight and bring some wings? Oh yeah, the door's open. So that being stated, um, let's pray, guys. Okay, over May 20th. We need help at the polls.
Mhm.
We need help, getting the word out. And please listen, my goodness gracious, at all costs, guys, we need to get the word out that Mary Pickles is not a conservative. Okay? We need to get the truth out, whether it's through smoke signal, flyers, phone calls, messages in the sand. Get the message out. Get the message out. And if we can help you with anything, if we can help you with material resources, reach out. But we need to let everybody know that Mary Pickles is not a conservative, and Mary Pickles is part of the LGBTQ, and well, not a member, but she supports the LGBTQ. Okay, that she supports all woke agenda, that she's taxed to the max. Okay, we cannot allow her and her people to continue to deceive the citizens of Cumberland County, Region 2, making them believe that she's a conservative when she's not.
Amen.
Okay? So you vote for Mickles, you get into a what? A pickle. And we are already in the pickle. We don't need any more pickles, okay? So no to Terry Mickle. No to tax to the max Mickle. No to I hate cyber school families Mickles. Okay?
Yep.
No. No. And if you need information, reach out to us. So with that said, this is Mariana and Kristi. We're signing off from the boiling point. You have a great evening. Until next time.
Night, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
As I ponder all your wonders, I can see that you live. Every day you see betrayal, yet you choose to forgive. Your love is strong, but not so long.